I'm Jennifer Underwood, Vice President of Learning and Development at PVH, and thank you for coming today. I'm going to talk to you about our Global Leadership Program in just a bit, but before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about PVH. We have brands such as Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and our heritage brands, and we've been in existence since 1881. Last year, we reported revenues of $8.2 billion. We have over 35,000 employees globally, and we operate in 40 countries, with 50% of our revenues outside of the US. And one of the things I'm most proud of at PVH is our chairman and CEO, Manny Chirico, who has supported our efforts with PVH University for over a year now. PVH University was really born last January, and he and his executive team have really been the driving force through PVH University. And one of our key strategic priorities is developing our talent. And we have a simple mission, which is really to allow our associates to fulfill their full potential through thought-provoking, engaging classroom courses, as well as through our online, on-demand platform that offers e-learning, web-based training, videos, etc. And our Leaders as Teachers series, where our executives serve as faculty. We have branches throughout the globe, specifically the US, Europe, Asia, and Brazil. And the branches, or the PVH University, is really structured in an academy structure, as you see here. In the US, we have our Leadership Academy, Inclusion and Diversity Academy, and Professional Skills Academy. And we're also developing several others, such as a Retail Academy and Systems and Application, which we will evolve to meet the business needs. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Global Leadership Program, specifically, which falls under our Leadership Academy, which we've developed over the last year or so. But specifically, our objectives are, again, pretty simple when it comes to this program, is really to enhance or develop stronger leaders at PVH. And we do that through, one, developing their business skills, their leadership skills, their finance skills. But also, what was really important for us at PVH is to help our leaders develop an enterprise-wide mindset. With the acquisition of our brands over our history, it was important to ensure that our leaders are breaking down silos and working across regions, across brands, across functions. And that was the last objective, was to develop those collaborative partnerships, which we've heard over the last several years. That's one of the key takeaways from the leaders. And let me tell you a little bit about our program design. It's a 6-month program. We kick off with a 360 assessment that's based on our competencies and our values, as well as the Heusen assessments, which are leadership styles inventories. So each of the leaders, which there's about 25 per cohort, participate in both. As well, they're assigned an executive coach that works with them through the entire duration of the 6-month program. As you'll see here, there's 2 on-site modules at Wharton, who is our partner, and you'll hear a little bit more about Wharton in just a moment. And both of those on-site modules are about 3 days, and it's a blend of classroom and experiential learnings. And in between Module 1 and Module 2, they continue to work with their coach. They develop their customized individual learning plan. And I'll say a little bit more about this, but they work on their case study, which is a customized case study with one of the faculty members at Wharton, finance professor Joe Perfetti, who coaches the teams throughout that case study. And in Module 2, they present back to the executive team on that. And they finish off, in this case in October, where they finalize their coaching plans and their coaching engagements and share with their managers. So a little bit more on the case study, because we really are very proud about our work with Wharton on this, and it's a core part of the program. It's also a lot of work we hear, but it's one of the things that the leaders tell us that they would not change about the program. As I mentioned, we partner with Wharton to develop it, and it's about our acquisition history. Each of the teams, which again is cross-function, cross-brand, cross-region, and there's 3 teams, the 25 leaders are broken up into 3 teams, get assigned by our CEO a potential acquisition. And essentially, they work with Joe Perfetti and Mario Musa, who's our program director at Wharton, to come up with their case on whether they would recommend to our CEO and the executives to either move forward with that target or not, and they have to say why. So it's a real opportunity for them to get those business skills and financial acumen skills that maybe they wouldn't have given their function, and be able to present to the executive team, which is in essence a panel discussion in Module 2. And why Wharton? Well, we looked at a lot of executive ed programs and simply said we were really impressed. First of all, they're world-class thought leadership, but also really impressed with their ability to customize to really meet our needs at PVH. And it was important for us to customize. They also had a unique retail and branding expertise, and we felt that they really understood our business. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Sue Wharton, who's our Senior Director at Wharton, to tell you a little bit about how Wharton works with clients such as PVH. Oh, Sue?
Thank you so much, Jennifer. As Jennifer had mentioned, we've been working together for the past couple of years in developing the program, and Jennifer has done an amazing job discovering and telling us about the program. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Wharton School and why we believe that working with Wharton might be a great choice for your company as well. Wharton has 3 value propositions. It's global, impact, and analytics. As our world is changing, we need to learn from people across the globe. Within the Wharton classroom, we see 10,000 people a year. They're from countries across the globe. They're from different cultures. And bringing our participants together, talking with our faculty, we find our faculty learn about the challenges facing a global company. Jennifer mentioned the case study we work on. Every program we work on, we want to have impact for a company. Impact can be a case study. It can be a personalized impact project. It can be, how will I take my learning back to the company I'm coming from? And analytics. As our world is getting larger, it's also getting smaller. We can learn about companies, we can learn about people, we can learn about clients, we can learn about our customers via data. So we have a high desire to make sure that our clients understand analytics. What does this data mean? It's not just noise, it's a deep, impactful understanding about that data. So again, 3 value propositions on working with Wharton: global, impact, and analytics. And one other thing I'd like to highlight is oftentimes your companies will hire our MBAs, our undergraduates, and then when you come to work with us at executive level, we have an understanding of what the people have brought to your company. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Megan Comerford. She's the Director of Learning and Analytics, and she'll talk a little bit about manager support as well as impact at PVH. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Sue. And hi, everyone. A word you've heard a few times now from Jennifer and from Sue is impact. And the Global Leadership Program would be just another program if we weren't driving business impact. And so I'd like to share with you a couple of ways in which we're both driving impact, but then also tracking it and looking at it to make sure that we're doing the right things by the business. And so for us, a really key success factor here was manager support. We wanted to make sure that from the get-go, we were getting participants, managers on board with supporting their development, but also with supporting the program. So a few ways that we really gained support was through pre-program briefings. So when our CEO and the executive team nominated participants, we were sure to very soon go to the managers and let them know what their direct reports would be experiencing in the program. We also made sure we had these periodic updates with the executive coaches that each of the participants were working with. And then we designed and developed custom manager guides and discussion guides to support the managers of participants when they were having these conversations around the coaching plans or understanding what was going on in the program so that they could help the participants where it made sense to connect what they were learning in the classroom or through the experiences with what they were doing in their roles in the business. And so those were some things that really helped to set the program up for success and also helped to set the participants up for big success. We also, throughout the program and then immediately following the program, collected both quantitative and qualitative feedback from our participants. And so you see here just a quick summary of how each of the sessions were ranked and rated. And what we found was that the participants really got value out of everything that they experienced through the 2 on-site modules. the two key front runners for us, where you see the one rowing experience with former Olympian Dan Lyons, team champion. His company is called Team Concepts, and we actually brought all 25 participants to the water. They learned to row. There was a race. It was a whole day experience. And what was really impressive coming out of that day were the relationships that were formed. So the participants all of a sudden now had these bonds with each other, even though maybe they sat in a meeting once a year together, never really knew what kind of business the other person ran. And now they were best of friends and really business partners where they could pick up the phone and call someone across the globe to get their perspective on it. So it was a really pivotal point in Module 1 for our participants. And then the top-rated session was Global Trends, which is with Mauro Guillen, one of Wharton's faculty. And what participants liked about this particular session is that it really opened their eyes to what's going on in the world and how that connects to our business when we're in retail. And so what are some things that maybe we aren't thinking about now that we should start to think about, and how do we bring that knowledge back to the business and the key decisions that our senior leaders are making on a day-to-day basis? What we found as we started looking at participants and analyzing the feedback was some really strong indications of what we were doing well. So 94% felt that the case study should be included in future programs. They got value out of thinking about what it is to acquire another company. They got value out of working with cross-functional teams, and they also got big value out of presenting to the executive team. And then we found 100% felt it was important to have that executive leadership at the forum. They really enjoyed the opportunity to present out and to have that panel discussion with our executives. Certainly one of the biggest takeaways people had was the networking opportunities. So again, these are leaders who are coming from across the globe, maybe don't typically interact with each other, and now they have the opportunity to do so throughout the program. They also really found value in the business relevant sessions at Wharton. So these were thoughtfully curated. And as Jennifer mentioned, it was really important to us that Wharton partnered to customize those sessions so they were meaningful to PVH. And then, of course, the third really most valuable component was the case study that Jennifer talked about. And so when we look across the 3 cohorts of the program that we've done, we've had 63 participants so far attend and graduate from the program. Of those 63 participants, we've had a 98% retention rate, which is really strong. And it's 4 percentage points higher than our standard retention rate at that level. And then 54% of our participants have been either promoted or given additional responsibilities. So that really speaks to the power of the program and the learning, and that they're coming back from the program and exhibiting these additional strengths or additional knowledge opportunities on the job. And then some outcomes that we found, right? It's funny with these programs that there are some things you think you're going to get out of it, and then some things that surprise you maybe along the way as you come to the conclusion. And so certainly we found a greater commitment to ongoing learning, both of their own ongoing learning, but also the learning of their teams. So coming back to the job with a new commitment to developing their teams. We definitely heard from the participants that they felt valued and honored to be part of the program, and that's a great retention tool right there. The silo busting that happened. So I mentioned that people were picking up the phones now and calling someone across the world they normally wouldn't be interacting with to get their perspectives. And then what was also really interesting for those of us who ran the program was it became almost this observation opportunity to see how our senior leaders were acting in these potentially stressful situations through the case study or in the rowing experience, and who was really emerging as a leader of leaders, and who was really emerging as having that courageous leadership. And so program ends, and now what? And it's really important to PVH that we continue bringing these leaders together and providing opportunities for them. And so one of the ways in which we're doing that is by hosting alumni events. In this past December, we brought Jonah Berger, who's another Wharton faculty, to actually our New York offices, and he did a special session just for GLP alumni. We also had some reunion events that were timed around that session. And our plan going forward is to offer these alumni events once or twice a year so that the leaders who participate do have the opportunity to come together. We're also working with the ROI Institute to look at the longer-term impact of the Global Leadership Program, and we're tracking some key metrics here and looking to get to level 4 and level 5 analytics. And then, of course, as the learning and development team, we're committed, as always, to supporting the individual growth of these leaders and the development of their teams. And we're actually looking at, as we roll out additional leadership programs to other levels of the organization, leveraging our Global Leadership Program participants as mentors to those other program participants. So that's all we have for you today, and I'd like to thank everyone for your time. It's been great sharing the Global Leadership Program at PVH with you all. Thank you.